All right, we are live. Hopefully, some folks come in here very soon. Oh, 10 p.m. I see I got a like. I hope. Colton, Robert, how are you guys? Can you guys hear me by chance? I'm hoping you guys can hear me. Glenn, how are you? Michael Middleton. Doug, how are you? All right, perfect. I like when I started the live, I literally started like a couple minutes ago and it said live stream not available. So I was like, shit. Jager, how are you? Hang on 1 second. I got a beverage. Gotta get a beverage. Got a beverage. Oh shit. My soda blew all over me. Haha. That sucked. All right. I hear you. Dude, I opened that and it just freaking shot everywhere at me. So, how is everyone? Good seeing you guys. Thank you, Jager. Thank you very much. It was to be honest with you, it was a hard thing. I could not when I was getting it caught yesterday, I I was in tears. I was like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "What am I doing?" Maggie Mayhem, how are you? John Collins, 1000 Black. Bo, how are you? Mickey, Rebecca, how are you? Endless, how are you? I'm glad that you guys like the new time. Alan, how are you? Erica, how are you? Yeah, all cleaned up. I don't like it. I'm not really happy with it. No, I'm just kidding. Marceline, I'm glad that you like the book. Thank you so much. Thank you, Endless. I'm gonna race today, a Grand Prix. No kidding. That's what Rachel said too. She's like, "You look younger." Because when I met her, my hair was short like this. I was like, when I met Rachel, my fiance, I was 17 and literally short hair like this. But I literally I went to thrift stores and shopped when I was a kid and wore the weirdest shit, like 1980s polyester shirts and Dickies, and just skateboarded all the time. And but I had short, clean cut hair for some reason. It was weird. Did you get the pic I sent you earlier this week? Gave my brother a copy of your book. Delirium, thank you so much. I did get it. I have not had a chance to look at it. I want to sit down. It's been a really busy week. A lot of crap has been going on, but I'm gonna sit down this week and go through everything. Emma, thank you. Man saying thank you. So, SDL, how are you? But so I got some badass encounters tonight. Badass encounters. I was a metalhead, Robert. When I was a kid, I still am. I literally just right before this live stream, I was listening to my favorite band, Crosses, at like 63. The volume was at 63 on 600-watt speakers. It was shaking my room. But yeah, I've always loved metal. I was just a skate kid, you know. I had tattoos when I was 16. I had my back tattoo. My first tattoo was my back when I was like 15 and a half. Guar, I like Guar. I wasn't a big fan of them. I like them, but um, Pups, how are you? Um, not like huge. I like Live in Antarctica. That's probably my favorite album they ever did, or video, whatever it is. I love that. But when I was younger, I was a huge Marilyn Manson fan. I like just loved them. The good shit, not like I like their bootleg stuff, like the Spooky Kids, Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. So, Middleton, you said that before. I knew you were going to say something about that, buddy. I knew it. I've got some crawler experiences. Dina Russo, how are you? Thank you, Pops. All right. What time is it? Tyler, what's up, buddy? It's 10:01. Should we start the night off with a Black Eyed Kids experience? I think I said hi to Glenn. I'm pretty sure I said hi to Glenn. I did before I got my soda and it blew up everywhere. Fucking soda. There we go. All right. Doug, how are you, my friend? Or Douglas, whatever you prefer. Ramuk! What's up, brother? Jane, how are you? James, what's up, buddy? I don't know. Stromer resigned in England. No shit. No, it's not demonic. It's music. He's the Prime Minister of England, Turbo Christ. Hi, Val. How are you? Joseph Cannon, how are you? You're not Jeff. I am Jeff Turbo. I gave you the peace sign. DB Mac, how are you, buddy? Marge, how are you? Thank you for the box. I've got it. I'm gonna when Monday on the live stream. I'm gonna or not Monday, not the live stream on Monday's video. I'm going to share what you sent to me. So thank you so much. Thanks, Janie. She's at her house right now sleeping. What's up, Daryl? But let's get this show started. Brian Mons, how are you? I got two really great Lizo stories. Really freaking good. I will tell you, I outdid myself on these ones. So, all right, here we go. I gotta get my, hang on a second. I gotta get my bifocals. You know you're getting old when you need bifocals. And these glare, so I don't like wearing them, but yes, I need bifocals. I believe I encountered black-eyed children over a decade. I believe I encountered black-eyed children over a decade ago in rural Appalachia. This has always low-key disturbed me, keeping in touch to this day. We've never brought it up again. We were at a local state park sort of place at around 9 p.m. through 1 a.m. I remember we were parked alongside the woods and some picnic tables. It was pretty desolate. We were technically trespassing. What we were doing at the time, you can leave to your imagination. Our curfews were approaching, and we were finishing up our time together. We experienced a very to start the car and pull away. The car did not start. We sort of laughed it off as it was not the first time his car did not want to start. And we started talking. Suddenly, the right passenger side where I was sitting, we see faint lights coming out of the woods. The ominous feeling intensified. Emerging from the woods, there were 4 to 5 children younger than we were, appearing to be 7 through 11 years of age. I'm not going to claim they were black-eyed kids. It was dark, and I don't remember as I was pretty shook. I didn't read about black-eyed children or phenomena until years later, which described everything else we had experienced. All I can say is that they were not normal. They did not belong. The cabins at the park were not occupied. They weren't even getting rented out. It was autumn/winter. We were miles from Park's hotel. There were no adults. They were absolutely out of place. What were those lights? I don't know. But the closest thing I can compare them to are a glow stick, as if they were opened in the package, those novelty glow sticks, including bracelets, necklaces, and wands. But it wasn't like they were having a good time or goofing off. They just stood there, and stared at us. He tried asking what they were doing here, if they were lost. Where are your parents? To no response. The oldest, a male child, a bit heavier set than the rest with a gray hoodie, approached the vehicle just on the front where the passenger headlight corner would be. My friend started really freaking out at this moment, locked the doors. It was like, hell no, we got to go. Eventually, the car starts, the children do not move, and the kid stays put in front of my car. My friend eventually yells to the kid, I'm going to run you over. The boy slowly backs away, raising his arms, points at us as we are leaving. I did not look back. I'm absolutely not making this up. To my recollection, this is how it went down. Thank you. Ronnie, how are you? Morbid Angel was good. I loved Morbid Angel. That's an old band, too. Holy shit, Turbo Christ. Good for you on that one. Sonia, how are you? Ronnie, Just B. Did I miss anyone? I did, probably. I hate when I miss people. I'm sorry if I did miss anybody. Robert Sharp, how are you, buddy? No Jimmy tonight, huh? No Jimmy. Thank you guys for the new haircut. You like it? It was a hard thing to do. Brian Mons, put your puck wedgie back in the closet, my friend. Put it back where it belongs. Troy, how are you? Alligator. Yeah, Maggie Mayhem. I cannot believe I have to wear my bifocals tonight. This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. All right. Got to hear a lot of underground stuff. I did, Robert. We had this really cool Tim in the Pack, how are you? Tim in the Pacific Northwest. Thank you. I'm glad you like the new hours. Glad you like the new hours. It was not my idea, but and I'm really glad that you guys like it, very soon you will. Very soon. She's really not very good on camera. She's camera shy. She's not good with public speaking. So we're probably going to have to, we got a couple ideas that we're coming up with. We just been talking a lot about what to do with the channel and to make it better for y'all. Yeah, the spooky kids were great. But yeah, we had this store called Rock World, and the guy that owned it was from New York City. He's kind of like an old hardcore kind of guy. He looked like a cross between Jerry Garcia, and he, to be honest with you, he looked like just a big tattooed version of Jerry Garcia. Like he had long hair, gray long hair, big beard, but a bunch of tats. He was just a big dude, super nice guy. But he had like a ton of underground music. And so he had a lot I grew up on was just bootleg shit. And I loved it. So all right. Did you shoot out a joke, Aramic? I didn't see. Hang on. Pure Blood, how are you? I want to hear some jokes, Aramic. Do you know the real reason Bigfoot is not in hiding? Oh my goodness. Do you know the reason why I added the live stream, the community chat is always on fire, friendships are forged, jokes are told? It's because of you, Aramic. The jokes that you tell are that's essentially you are part of the Saturday lineup. Yes, shut up your face. Holidays, how are you? Rickshaw rolled up this. A rickshaw. Nice. All right, this is a pretty good one. I cannot believe I'm going this blind. All right, just a weird thing I encountered on my first wedding anniversary. My wife and I decided to make a drive to Colorado Springs on a recommendation of a friend. She had never seen the mountains before, so I figured the Rockies would be perfect. We stayed at the Holiday Inn that was right at the base of the mountain, basically, and had a great view of Pikes Peak as soon as we looked out our window. She was thrilled. She had never seen anything like it before. And she's a sucker for gift shops, so this place was great. We had a great time. Our second day there, we decided to drive up Pikes Peak, but we were told at the gate that we could get up most of the way, but the very summit was closed because of too much snow. We could still get pretty high up. I think Pikes Peak is around 14,000 feet. We got to about 11,000 before we were closed off. So we are above the clouds, which were awesome because it just looked like we were looking out over the ocean. We stopped at a to get some hot cocoa for the drive and a magnet from Colorado, since we collect magnets by every state we go to. It was pretty cool because we had a Bigfoot crossing sign along, or they had a Bigfoot crossing sign along the way, which was really fun to take a picture in front of. Anyway, once we get to the closed off part of Pikes Peak, we were parking our car, get out to kind of look around and check out the view. I didn't think anyone else was up there with us, except there was a guy a little way up sitting in his truck, making sure people didn't go up any higher. Even if we couldn't get to the summit, it was still gorgeous. We took pics, all of which were pretty terrible. It was really cold. But I insisted we buy 511 jackets, pants, and boots on this trek, and my wife did not understand why until I demanded that brand. But if you're a dude, you know. So we are pretty toasty. I wander off and start looking around the rocks, and a few of the trees were up at the elevation. I just like to explore stuff off the beaten path. I heard some snow crunching nearby. I assumed it was another sightseer, so I moved toward the sound of the crunching snow, but I did not see anyone or anything. There are a few trees here and there, but not hard to really see. It was snowing a bit, however. The wind was blowing the snow sideways. I'd gone pretty far from my wife at this point and did not want to stray too much further, but I was honestly hoping to see a wolf or something. I found some tracks in the snow. They were pretty small. The snow was kind of deep, so I really could not tell what kind of animal had made them, but it did look like it walked on all fours. So I was really hoping to see a wolf. I did not see a wolf. At first, I didn't see a thing. I followed those tracks around a tree and kind of carefully peeked around it, but did not see a thing. The tracks stopped there. I didn't get right up on the tree because if it was a wolf, I didn't want to get face to face with it. I also say I have no idea if there are wolves in the Rockies, but I was just sort of hoping. What I did see eventually was pure white scurry away from the exact location I was looking at. It was pure white. I'm not sure if it was invisible or just blending in perfectly with the snow. It moved on all fours. It had a huge bulbous head, kind of like what you would think the typical version of an alien. It had spindly body, its arms and legs super skinny, and its body wasn't a whole lot bigger. Its arms and legs themselves were really long. I'd say it was probably 4 to 5 feet tall if it was standing upright. It was a bit hard to tell with it. All it turned around and took a look at me and had a really small black beady eyes, no definite features. Its eyes were really far apart and almost on the side of its head. Its feet and hands were buried, but when it went to move, I saw it had hands that looked like ours with fingers that were way too long, though. Like not ET long, but wiry, spindly. It looked at me for a second and just leapt forward away from me. And as soon as it landed in the snow, it was gone, invisible again. I could not see it. Then it hopped again and it jumped a good 6 to 7 feet from a dead stop, took off running. I ran away. It ran away from me and scaled some rocks in the distance as it like it was nothing crawling up the side of a cliff face. Whenever it was in the snow, it looked invisible, though. I am not sure if that was because it was all white or because it was like actually turning invisible. Anyway, in a few seconds, it was gone. When I got back to my wife, she's waiting in the car and did not believe a word I had said. Thought I was trying to scare her. To this day, she does not believe me. And I don't know what it was. I've never heard of a cryptid or anything like it. And on that trek back down, I asked a lady at the gift shop if people ever reported weird things into Bigfoot. What's up, Smitty? How are you, buddy? Hey, babe. Love ya. Aw, thank you for popping in, Rach. I love you. Eremic! Aw, I can't wait to see you in a little bit. All right, let's I would love to get to 1 million subs. I honestly would love to. I am surprised I got to 100,000. I am not gonna, I am at 100,000. Do I like typo negative? Yes, I do. Um, thank you from Nancy. Lisa Sparkman, how are you? Typo negative and what's that band that sounds like typo negative? Oh shit. Hang on a second. I'll tell you in 1 second. There was a band that sounded just like typo negative that I liked a long time ago. Song As I Die. Paradise Lost. Dude, they sounded so much like typo negative. It was unreal. Unreal. Dylan, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Aramic is the gift giver. Aramic is the gift that never stops giving, to be honest with you. All right. Anthrax, dude, Anthrax is the great. I remember listening to Anthrax when I was in 7th grade summer school. 7th grade summer school, Antisocial, I'm the Man. Anthrax, I'm the Man was the greatest when I was a kid. I was like, holy shit. And then when they did the Public Enemy stuff, Pantera, obviously, buddy. Obviously. All right. What did Marge say? What did I miss? Friday. My 8th grandchild, 7th grandson. March, congratulations. Congratulations. And once again, I'm on. Oh, hey, Kathy, how are you? Thank you for being with me tonight. Um, March, thank you for the box again. I will share what you sent me. She sent me some really beautiful old classic, like antique Coke bottles and some really sick stuff. So thank you. Hercules Misfit. All right. I'm trying to figure out what I saw about 6 years ago. Not a great sketch, but you'll get the gist. I was reminded what I saw today because me and a friend were talking about some weird experiences we had. So the story goes, I was a kid and my sister and my dad were in our trailer up in the woods at night. Although I cannot say I was too scared before this experience happened. In fact, I was pretty happy and watching SpongeBob on our trailer's TV. I randomly glanced out the window, and of course, you cannot see the outside, but you could see the reflection. And in that reflection, I saw that thing behind me. It was so tall, it had hunched just to fit in the trailer. I could not make out any eyes because they just looked like sunken black sockets. It was lanky and bony and flesh covered. I don't think it had a mouth or a nose. And I remember it had a bunch of skin discoloration or like liver spots. I'm not sure. Oh, and it had super thin, greasy, like black hair. Anyway, I, of course, spun around and did not see a thing behind me. I turned back to the window and nothing. I tried rationalizing it and chalking it up to my imagination, but I never experienced anything like that before. I've only had one other weird experience since, but that's a whole other story. I think so sort of scares me is my brother's girlfriend once described something she saw in my brother's room closet. And she described the same thing, black, sunken eyes, tall figure. I honestly don't know how to explain it. I hadn't told her about my experience before. Weird coincidence? Anyway, I'd just like to know if anyone has ever had an experience with what I saw. I sketched it out, but once again, I am not the best sketch artist. So this is what the person saw. I don't know. It looks like a crawler to me, but the hair is kind of weird. I've never seen a crawler with hair. But once again, I'm not an expert. They may have hair. You know what I mean? Um, Very interesting, though. I saw a Skid Row. I saw a Skid Row and Guns N' Roses at the Civic Center, Glens Falls Civic Center, when I was a kid, and they had Cinderella with them. But that was like '90s cock rock. I don't really consider it metal, but that was good music. Johnny Ohm, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much. Appreciate the love. Crawler and the Girl from the Ring. Yes, sir. Alice in Chains. Great band. Alice in Chains is, I think Lane was an amazing singer. For Seattle music though, Alice in Chains probably like my favorite Seattle music, definitely Nirvana, but number one Seattle rock music out of that era was Mother Love Bone, Andrew Wood, Leandrew, the Love God. Mother Love Bone was Pearl Jam before Eddie Vedder joined. Probably one of the greatest bands ever. Underrated band, way awesome. I liked Alice in Chains' first album. Looks like a rocker crawler. Absolutely. Mad Season's great. Mad Season is great. OG? How are you? Wiley. Let me some White Snake. Little, what is that? White Snake. Was that David Coverdale or Coverfield or Motorhead is great, dude. I don't care. One of my favorite all-time songs by Motorhead is Orgasmatron. Holy crap. I remember the first time I heard that song, I was like, what is this? No, David Coverdale, or who the hell was the lead singer of freaking White Snake? Coverdale, right? There we go. Pups, thank you so much. Aw, thank you, Pups. And I'm not going to forget to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day out there, but it's not time yet. So who's saying, hey, man, nice shot? That was Filter. Filter did. Thank you, Pops. Pixies? The Pixies were all right. I like them. The Where Is My Mind song? That was a good song. Guar, I liked one album or it wasn't an album. I don't know if it was an album. I saw the video. I was young, live from Antarctica. Annihilator. Mom, a couple years ago, and this holiday is tough. SDL, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm glad you're here with us. So, Johnny Ohm. Is this gonna? This is the new time, my friend. New time, Johnny. It's so everybody can we can all kind of get together before it gets late and I get tired. So definitely. SOD was great. My doctor asked if anyone in my family suffers from mental illness. I said no. We all seem to enjoy it. SDL, I am sorry. I'm fortunate to have my mom still. You know, I really can't. I cannot imagine, you know, the pain of losing a parent, and eventually it's going to happen. So I'm sorry for your loss. My dad's got a fresh. Oh my God. My dad is a madman. He's got a fractured neck. He's got a broken arm in two places. And he's just a nutcase. He had to wait until yesterday to get the cast on. The orthopedic guy said, "Oh, it's great that you broke it in two places, but they're clean. We don't have to do surgery." So he's got this lidocaine patch on his neck, and he's taking half an oxycodone a day and drinking beer at 3. You know what? I'm not going to say anything to him. You know, he's out of pain. You know, he's out of pain. Big Jim. Oh my God. He's a madman. He is a true madman. I said hi. I can't believe it. Love you. Rhonda, how are you? Yeah, my dad's dialed right in. Buddy, you want to go out? Here you go. Go on. Bye, buddy. Nexus. Dude, I could not imagine my dad, Tyler, doing shots of whiskey. My dad drinks beers. That's like beers is I've only seen that man drink beers. I don't even think he drinks water. He drinks beers like I drink Coca-Cola. Ed Bot. Damn. Good luck with that, my friend. I hope everything works out. I have no idea what a neck fusion is. I'm imagining it race together, but damn. Yeah, he is a miracle, man. I don't know, Nexus. I don't know. Last time there was a question or a joke like that, I lost 2 subscribers for not being a feminist. Truth Quest was like, I can't believe that you would laugh at a joke like that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Nexus. All right. This is a strange one. Years ago, when I was 14, friends decided to put an original Exorcist on. I was a big baby and told them I was going home if they put it on, and I did. On my way home, I had to cross a dark rugby field, then through an alleyway with one lamppost in it. I still walk that alleyway now, and the trees sort of shroud the light there. It's creepy. As I got closer to the alleyway, I was thinking, oh, the devil of crap, etc., etc. But then, as I got into the alley, for some reason, I said to myself in my head, if you're real, go on, prove it. Show me something. You're not real, haha. And all this, etc. In that moment, the light went out. I ran through that alleyway into the street. All lights were out just on the street. Also, a car alarm was going off. It was really freaky. I ran all the way home, but my lights were on when I got through the door. My mom said, "What's wrong with you?" And I told me she had some strange feeling that I was in trouble. She knew I was scared out of my wits. Before anyone says it's BS, I will tell you this really happened. I've since looked into it more. I'm 31 and I still go. Also, I've thought about it rationally, and odd things is the only thing that can cause power to cut and car alarms to be set off at the same time. Massive surge of energy. Sometimes I think it came from within me, not from anything else. This is a deeply personal story. I don't know if I'm going to regret sharing it, but it was real, and I hope that you guys will appreciate and respect it. I do. I mean, we all have our fears. They were young. Who are we to say? You know what I mean? Looks like Tim Burton drew another member of the Gorillas. Yes, yes, Turbo. I got a call from my stepmom, who is Orthodox, but does also believe in spirit stuff, readings, and she's been told that she is a psychic or something similar, and she has had paranormal experiences all of her life. But today she got a sudden urge to check her security cameras. And at first, she received an error message, so she reloaded, and the lights that were recently replaced and our motion sensors kept flickering. She saw what seemed to be a silhouette or something outside, and it was slowly moving around. She asked it what it wanted, and she said she heard something say, "You." She then asked who it was, and she got multiple different names. After that, she told it to leave and go away. She felt shivers go all the way up her spine, then go away. Then she felt peaceful, and she had different experiences a few years ago while in Italy, while staying with a few family members, where she felt as if something had possessed her. She looked down at someone with disgust and couldn't look away no matter how hard she tried. And she thinks it could be connected, as one of the names she was given was the name of a man she had looked down upon. Yes, jokes, Aramek. Yes, jokes, please. I love your jokes, Aramek. If America is storming Area 51, then Europe can storm the Vatican. We'll take the aliens. You get the predators. Oh my God. See that one coming. Aramek, that is. I don't think so, SDL. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't really honestly know, but damn, that was good. Oh shit. I don't know, to be honest with you. I'd say probably not. What's up, Soldier 44? How are you, my friend? I'll show you guys. I have my next tattoo is this right here. That's my next tattoo. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. What time is it? 41 minutes in? All right. Aramek, you are amazing, and I truly, truly love you, brother. You are the greatest. We got Lizo in about 19 minutes. Lizo in about 19 minutes. This is the coolest gift. Aramek got me this. A Garmin InReach Mini. I love this thing. I actually love it so much, Aramek, that I paid for the membership. So when I get lost in the me, they will know where I am. Oh, thank you, Rosie. I'm glad you liked the book. I'm wondering where Ginny is tonight. It is a personal location beacon. You're absolutely right. It may save me. Speaking of which, I will be talking about this very soon here. DEC just sent DEC, New York Department of Environmental Conservation, decided they were going to take a jaunt up to where Tom Mezek disappeared recently. And you know what they found? Nothing. They found nothing. They went to where I go quite often, and you know, my question is, do they know something that we don't know? Does Department of Environmental Conservation, or does anyone know something that we do not know? Totally crazy. Totally crazy. I want to know what's going on. No reason. No reason. I 100% Wiley, 100%. It's a portal. There's no reason. It's not even like the 10-year mark was a year ago almost. You know, it was November 15th. That was the 10-year mark. If you're going to go up at that point, go up that day. Go up when I went up. Let's see you go up there and play. No, no one else is missing. They're looking for him. Robbie Lynn, yeah, he's a kind of a joker, but that's here nor there. He talks about the place, but he's never been in the woods. It's kind of funny. If you're going to talk about a place, go in the woods at least, right? We were driving near Cedar Creek last weekend. I saw a wolf-like creature cross the state road, walk quadruped on the grass. Where fur was. Rosie, send me that, please. Send me that so I can share that, please. Yes, UFO files. What do you guys think of the UFO files, huh? Kind of weird, right? The one thing that I thought was fascinating was the one over the United Emirates. The one over the United Emirates that had like it looked like a circular kind of whatever with a line in it. It was kind of weird. Good call, Robbie. Good call for bringing that up. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? It did look angelic. It did. It was very strange. The star one, yep. You know which one I thought was what was kind of weird and hoaxish? Was very soft disclosure. It was bullshit, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna. The one that really kind of had me looking was the United Emirates one. All the rest were just a joke. You know, if you're gonna release it, release it. Don't give a shit that we have better stuff that's been released previously. You know, don't pull our chain. Thank you, Robbie. Appreciate that. I really do. The new virus, you mean you mean the new government created weapon for human depopulation? Rosie, thank you so much. They're the government is terrible. The government is terrible. Distraction. Mo, that was Mo, you are on the right path right there, but the distraction from the Epstein files was the Iranian war, and there was a reason for that is because Israel did not want to look bad in the public's eye. You've got a Mossad agent who holds massive sway and power over United States presidents, politicians, rich people. What's that make your country look like? They created him, you know? It wasn't Mossad that created Epstein. You need to, in order to create someone like that, to make him infiltrate and be that powerful, you need a whole country behind you. And that was their little fucking project, right? What's up, Nick Hendricks? How are you? It's some weird stuff that's going on. A lot of weird stuff, my friends. You have the off mouse shit. What? Oh my goodness. You know, here's what's crazy too. Here's what's crazy. This kind of irritated me a little bit. What was it like 2 weeks ago? Israel blew up a Catholic or Christian church. They didn't even say they're sorry. But you know, like it's okay when they do it. You know, and it just baffles me. You know, like it's reverse everything. It's nothing is. I'm fascinated. Yes, yes. Hang on, I'll tell you really quick. Where and when was the Catholic or Christian church that Israel bombed just recently?
On July 17th, 2025, Israeli forces attacked the Holy Family Church in Gaza City, the only Catholic church in the Gaza Strip. The attack injured the priest and killed 3 people, while the church was sheltering displaced civilians.
Displaced civilians. You know what's crazy is they are truly like, I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand war. I'm not a politician. I don't like war. I don't think it's cool. But you know, when everybody says like America is terrible and we're bad when we blow up shit, we'll blow up like one building. Israel if there is one bad guy in a block of buildings, they won't blow up the one building. They'll blow up the whole block. They eradicate shit. And that's not cool. You know, Regardless of what your religion is or whatever person, you there should be a pass. Like, who the hell gave them the right? Who gave them the power to be God? That's not cool. It's not cool at all. It is the agenda. It's the 1%. If you really look at the 13 families of the Illuminati, if you look at all of those families and their names and their culture, the cabal runs deep in that blood. The cabal runs deep in that blood. Terrible stuff, my friends. There was exploded out. Damn. Yes, ghostly world. All right. This is an experience I had while on patrol. While on night shift patrol, my sergeant was good at keeping us busy, turning slow nights into games. He would run something called the Sticky Note Challenge, placing a sticky note on a random business window for us to find between calls. It was one of those nights at around 2 a.m. that I had began shining my alley lights and spotlight on every building I passed, slowly driving the streets and focusing on every bit of movement. When I reached the north side of town, I approached an old muffler shop. The closer I got, the more my stomach turned. Something did not feel right. As I reached the front, my patrol car was almost at a crawl while I strained my eyes to the pretty dark window tint. Then I saw something, a male figure slowly passing a window on the far side of the building. I called for additional units and maintained visual on the front door until backup arrived. Myself and 3 others checked out the perimeter and found the front door had been unsecured. The second I entered, I was hit with a strong coppery metal odor, the unmistakable smell of blood. We cleared most of the building and nothing seemed disturbed or out of place, but when we made it to the back office, we found a man slumped over a desk, a Glock in his right hand. It was clear he had been gone for some time, as rigor mortis had long set in. The thought of the figure ran through me. Who was it? During the secondary search, I noticed a camera above the filing cabinet. After obtaining access to that footage from the business contact we had on file, I told detectives what I had seen, and sure enough, it was just him. He had come alone, unlocked the door, and had unalived himself. Nobody else was seen on that video. While the medical examiner arrived, a note was recovered from his pocket addressed to his wife asking for forgiveness. I couldn't sleep or drive down that road for a long time. The night changed me somehow. Logically, I know the video showed only him alone. Every rational part of my mind accepts that. Some might call it a lingering spirit or just an unexplained twist of perception, but whatever I saw and felt that night guided me there. Did Nick Hendricks, did you lose your dog, my friend? I am so sorry for your loss, brother. Damn, that is terrible. I am sorry for your loss. Damage. Yes. New time, 10 p.m. It's easier for everyone now. Nick, I'm sorry, man. That's a hard loss, brother. And as a pet owner and a lover of animals, Julie, I'm sorry for your loss as well. I just cannot imagine. I love animals. Like Tigger messed me up the last 2 weeks ago, and I still love him. What's up, Patrick Sullivan? Foster Bennett, how are you? I don't know if I love Dogman, Mo. I don't know about that. Now you're pushing it. Large Ogre, how are you? They are family members. You're absolutely right. Charles, what's up? From Mississippi. Charles, man. So, you want to hear something crazy? Hang on a second. Ugh. All right. So, my fiance, Rachel, who I've known for, wow, ever now, 30 years. 30 years, actually. Her family's from Mississippi. And I had played her aunt, Parquet. Lovely woman. Just this lovely, beautiful old woman. I freaking love her. She's so cute. She loves hugs. But she's from Bruce, Mississippi, which is just on the outskirts or surrounding area of Taylor, right? So Taylor, Mississippi, as we know, Luke had shared his Dogman experiences, 5 generations of Dogman experiences. Now, I had played her Luke's experience in interview, and then I had played her the video that I just did the other day with the news footage from Taylor, Mississippi. And boy, she loves the South, and she is like loves it, but she might not ever go back. Now, crazy story she told me. She has or had, I think it was her nephew. He's no longer with us, but he had been out in the woods one day and had seen not a dogman, but a bipedal humanoid reptilian creature in the woods of Taylor, Mississippi. She said that when he shared the experience with her, that he was so like revved up and so terrified that it's kind of hard to deny that it happened. One, he doesn't lie. And two, you know, the adrenaline and fear in someone, you can tell when someone's lying when they're sharing an experience, you know. But yeah, and it's a really crazy experience because I wish I could have a couple of minutes just to hear more of it. But pretty crazy. Taylor, Mississippi. Definitely some weird stuff there, my friends. All right, what time is it? Oh, it's time. Is it time, guys? I think it's time. I'd love to see those book titles behind you. I do have some great books. I do. I'll give you one line of books, okay? One line of books. And no one pick on my pants tonight. All right. Cauldrons and Concealed Creatures by William Michael Mott. Great book. Oh my God, this is one of the best. Cryptid Chronicles by Jeff Nadolny. This is Paul Rosley, The Jungle Keeper. But then I've got Little Creatures, True Legends, Stephen Quayle, Birthright, Unearthing the Cloud Eaters, a couple Mr. Haunted books, Mr. Haunted Origins, Lights Out, and Phantom Messages. Annie Jacobson, Nuclear War, Area 51, Phenomena, Operation Paperclip, all by Annie Jacobson, Them and Us by Danny Van Drimini, Malachi Martin, Hostage to the Devil. This is a book that was put out by Stephen Quayle's. If you guys can get this book is truly a mind opener right here. It's called The Black Awakening, The Rise of the Satanic Super Soldiers in the Coming Chaos. It was written by Ross Dizdar, and I read the whole book. It's thick and it's worth reading. Obviously, my two favorites, Skinwalker at the Pentagon and Hunt for Skinwalker. Behold the Pale Horse, Admiral Byrd's Missing Diary, Diary of a Young Soldier from Operation High Jump, Commander X, Ultimate Deception, Nephilim Look Like Clouds, and They Walk Among Us by Annie Jacobs. So there's one row of books, SDL, for you. Victor's book was never able to get put out. I can't put it out. I'm probably going to put it out. I'm probably going to put his book out as fiction. That way it can get put out. And I'll let everybody know. Jimmy! What's up, Stacy? How are you? Jimmy, I've been missing you, buddy. Look who's in the house though with us. Look at Tiger. Look at that, buddy. All right. Lizo time? Is it Lizo time? You guys tell me if it's Lizo time whenever you guys are done saying hi to Jimmy. All right, here we go. The air at the Stardust and Diesel truck stop didn't smell like stars. It smelled like deep fryer grease, unwashed upholstery, and the kind of desperation that only blooms at 3 a.m. in the middle of Nebraska. Lizo, not the singer, but the self-proclaimed queen of the asphalt, sat behind her double-wide trailer, which was parked precariously behind the diner. She was adjusting a fishnet stocking that had seen better decades. Her neon pink eyeshadow glowed under the flickering security light. Beside her stood Earl Big Rig Johnson, a man whose torso was shaped like a chest freezer and whose vocabulary consisted mostly of various grunts and names of interstate exits. I'm telling you, Earl, Lizo said, flicking an ash from a long mentholed cigarette. The economy is shifting. These boys don't want conversation anymore. They want Wi-Fi and protein shakes. Nobody respects the craft. Earl nodded, leaning against a stack of discarded pallets. Toll road's up too. Suddenly, the conversation died. The gravel beneath their feet didn't just vibrate, it hummed. A shadow larger than a Peterbilt swept over the trailer. Then the sky didn't just light up, it exploded into a violent, ultraviolet glare that turned the midnight oil into high noon neon. Lizo and Earl scrambled toward the main parking lot. They weren't alone. The diner doors swung open, spilling out Greasy Gabe, the short order cook, 3 drifters who lived in a literal ditch, and the ladies of the midnight shift, Lizo's loyal subjects. Even the truckers had climbed out of their sleeper cabs, clutching tire irons and thermos cups. High above the diesel pumps, a polished chrome disc hovered. It looked like a hubcap from God's Cadillac. A beam of shimmering green light shot down, locking onto a solitary figure standing near the air hose station. Ron Skinny Neck Davis. Ron was a local twitcher who spent his days looking for copper wire. As the light hit him, his Lizo, they're lifting my dignity. Ron shrieked, his voice crackling as he ascended into the belly of the craft. Well, ain't that OSHA approved, Earl muttered. Well, that ain't OSHA approved, Earl muttered, shielding his eyes. The crowd watched in a stunned, silent vigil. For 1 hour, the UFO hummed with a sound like a wet blender. Then a wet thwack. A green beam fired again, and Ron Skinny Neck Davis was spat down onto the asphalt. He did not get up. He crawled. He was weeping, his shirt tucked in backwards. And he was walking, or rather shuffling, with his legs wider apart than a man who had spent a week on a horse. Lizo marched over, her heels clicking like gunshots on the pavement. She looked at Ron up and down. Ronnie, baby, what did they do? Did they take your brain? Ron looked up, his eyes wide and vacant. They didn't want my brain, Lizzo. They didn't want to talk about peace. They had tools, cold, silver tools. And they kept talking in cliques about maximum capacity. He winced, clutching his backside. I'm sore, Lizzo. I'm sore in ways a man shouldn't be. A ramp descended from the craft, and out stepped the aliens. They looked like oversized hairless cats with too many joints and eyes that bubbled like boiling tar. They were carrying what appeared to be high-tech laser-sighted equipment. The leader, a spindly creature with translucent head, pointed a vibrating rod at Earl. Lizzo felt the heat rise in her chest that had nothing to do with the diner's chili. This was her turf. These were her people. She had spent 15 years keeping the peace at the Stardust and Diesel, and she wasn't about to let some intergalactic tourists come down here. Listen here, you bug-eyed basement-dwelling freaks, Lizzo screamed, stepping between the aliens and trembling Ron. The only thing getting probed around here is the quality of the hash browns. You want to play doctor? You gotta pay the queen. The lead alien let out a series of high-pitched chirps, which sounded suspiciously like a laugh, and leveled his device. Earl, Lizzo barked. Get that lug wrench. Ladies, break out the industrial strength hairspray and the lighters. We're going to show these ETs why you don't mess with a woman who can survive a Reno miniskirt. And the brawl was nothing short of legendary. It was not clean, choreographed fighting of a Hollywood movie. It was a truck stop riot. Earl, Big Rig Johnson, led the charge, using an actual engine block he had been repairing as a bludgeoner. He swung the massive hunk of iron, flattening two aliens who tried sneaking up on him with a vacuum-sealed specimen jar. The ladies of the night formed a kind of blinding sort of circle around the creatures with clouds of aerosol and shins with six fury. She had a heavy rhinestone-studded handbag that she swung with the force of a wrecking ball. Clunk! The lead alien's translucent head rung like a bell. She grabbed another by its elongated neck and slammed it against the diesel pump. You think you're scary? Lizzo yelled, dodging a blue laser blast. I've seen things in the back of a 1994 Freightliner that you would make your ancestors melt. I've saw 3 divorces and hepatitis scare. You're just a glorified squid in a tin can. The battle did not stay in the parking lot. Oh, no, it did not. Over the next 48 hours, the Stardust and Diesel became a war zone. The aliens brought down reinforcements, but the humans had the home field advantage. The truckers used their rigs to create a ring of steel, boxing the UFO in. The diner staff kept the front line supplied with high caffeine coffee and combat-ready burritos that were practically biological weapons in their own right. By the second day, the tide had turned. The aliens who had traveled light years expecting to find primitive sheep found themselves besieged by the most weathered, stubborn, and chemically resistant humans on the planet. The final blow came when Lizzo cornered the alien commander behind a trailer. She had cornered him with a gallon of industrial degreaser and a very large, very sharp knitting needle. You want to probe some? Lizzo hissed, her hair a wild nest of frizz and defiance. How about you see how it feels when the locals get a turn? She didn't kill him. Lizzo was a businesswoman, and she knew that a dead customer. Instead, she and Earl gave them the truck stop send-off, using a combination of a grease gun, some coarse grit sandpaper, In a very confused, Ron Davis leftover copper wire, they gave the aliens a taste of their own perverse medicine. 2 days after it began, the bright light flickered one last time. The UFO didn't ascend majestically. Nope, it wobbled. It sputtered. Through the translucent cockpit windows, the aliens could be seen clutching the walls, their almond shaped eyes filled with a new, profound sense of cosmic trauma. They were sitting very gingerly on their pilot seats, or rather hovering just above them. The craft shot into the atmosphere, leaving a trail of exhaust that smelled faintly of Lizo's perfume and burnt rubber. Silence returned to the Nebraska plains. Ron Skinny Neck Davis was sitting on a curb eating a donut and finally walking in a straight line. The truckers went back to their cabs. The ladies went back to the diner to wash the alien goo off their boots. Lizo stood in the center of the lot, lighting a fresh menthol cigarette. Her fishnets were ruined, and one of her rhinestones had fallen off her bag. But she looked like the conqueror. You okay, Lizo? Earl asked, wiping a green kind of goo off his forehead. I'm fine, Earl, she sighed, watching the faint star streak of the retreating UFO. But I'll tell you one thing. I'd better not see those boys in my dreams tonight. They didn't even leave a tip. The Earth was safe, not because of the military or scientists or politicians, but because the galaxy's premier proctologist had just made a mistake of trying to probe a woman who hadn't taken a crap from anyone since the Carter administration. The Stardust and Diesel stayed open, and for the rest of the life, Ron Davis never looked at a cucumber in the same way again. DB Nick. Why does Dr. Pepper come in a bottle? Oh my God. Stephen King will be probably stealing that story for a new movie. Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Oh, Static X. When Wayne Static was singing for them, they were great. Not a big fan of the new whatever his name is, but yeah, good stuff. I know you do, Johnny Ohm. I know you do. I told you it was a good one. Craigers! What's up, buddy? Look at Tigger. Look at Tigger. Look at him. Buddy, what doing? Haha, look at him. The old freaking fart. What's the difference between a pickpocket and a peeping Tom? Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you, Hercules. Thank you. You know what's crazy is Rachel stole my cat. My cat, Tigger, likes her better than me. How do I feel about that? I like it. It's okay. But I can't believe she took my cat. No, I can't, SDL. I can't. Maybe next week I'll do a live stream upstairs. But I like it down here. That is how it goes. That is how it goes. Why can't I blow it down here? Windows don't open down here. So I will do a live stream upstairs next week, probably. Thanks, Craigers. Adam Condon. He is a handsome boy. Where'd he go? He's gone now. He's like, nobody look at me. My leg's doing better. No, way better now. Way better. It lit. Okay, so they put me on a Z pack. Imagine going to a doctor's office, right? I go to a doctor's office about my leg. And you know what he does? He picks his phone up. He picks his phone up and Googles medicine for a cat scratch. Can you imagine what kind of fucking doctor does that, right? So then it just gets worse because I'm on Z-Pack. It's not a fucking toothache. So I have to get a shot, and then I get some good freaking augmentin. I can't believe the dude was looking up what to. I'm like, are we like really? Are we web here? Are you fucking Doogie Howser? Like, what the hell? Fucking Doogie Howser. I could have. I just couldn't prescribe it by myself. All right. Hang on. I got a black-eyed kids experience. You guys want a black-eyed kids experience? Y'all want a black-eyed kids experience? Rando, how are you? I love me some black-eyed kids. Wait, that didn't sound good, did it? No, it did not. Oh, we just found out Grandpa is addicted to Viagra. Nobody's taking it harder than... Poor grandma. Poor grandma. I've had 2 encounters with black-eyed children. The first time was 2 years ago or so in a gas station parking lot off Highway 58 in Tennessee. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning. My friend had parked toward the far end of the lot around the side of the building. I'm sitting in the passenger side of my friend's car waiting for him to come out of the store from buying some cigarettes. I was fairly relaxed, enjoying the radio when I hear a knock at the window. I look over and there was a boy. He looked about 12. He was wearing a gray hoodie with his hood pulled over his head. I cracked the window and asked what he wanted and responded with, "Can I borrow your phone?" I wasn't going to let some strange kid use my phone, so I told him that I was sure they'd let him use the one inside the store. He kept insisting on it, though. And it was the weirdest thing because the longer he stood there, the more unsettled and scared I started to feel. I had rolled up the window by this point, and he became something less than aggressive, but more than insistent. And that's when I saw his eyes. His hood slipped back because of his movements, and the only way I can describe the feeling of looking into those eyes was a primal fear. That's about the time he quickly moved to the nearby tree line, and a few seconds later, my friend got into the car. He said I was pale as a ghost and asked what was wrong. At the time, I had no idea what the hell that was all about and had trouble describing it to him. He looked at me strangely and said he did not see a kid at all. That really got to me. So when I got home, I couldn't sleep. I found out exactly what I had encountered. The second encounter happened shortly after my roommate and my house. This is about 3.5 weeks ago. I'm a night owl, so I'm up pretty ridiculous times of the night. A lot of the time, I was up at around 3:30 in the morning. Yet again, watching some YouTube videos, I hear a knock on the door. I would have normally just avoided the knock on the door at the time of night, but my roommate's girlfriend had left only 20 minutes prior, so I assumed it was her having forgotten something. It wouldn't have been the first time. So I went to the door, cracked it a bit to look outside, and there were 3 kids. One looked about 16-year-old girl, the other two were little boys, about 6 to 10, respectively. They wouldn't look directly at me and held their heads downward at an angle. The porch light cast a pretty heavy shadow over their features, so what they were was again obscured. I hadn't forgotten about my previous encounter, but I didn't know any of the neighborhood yet. Couldn't just assume black-eyed kids when it was desperation standing at my doorstep. I opened the door a bit more, and before I could ask what they were after, the girl said, "Can we come in and use your phone?" I told her I could fetch it for her and let her use it, but again, she asked to come inside. It was as if I hadn't said a thing at all, and her insistence grew, just like the last time. She stepped from the front walk to the bottom step of my stoop and looked up at me. I saw those eyes and slammed the door and went back to the living room a good distance away from that door. I heard a few more knocks over the following few minutes, growing more aggressive with each volley until they stopped. I did not dare get close to that door or the windows again until sunrise. I have since installed security cameras around the perimeter of the house, and if they come back, you bet your ass, Jeff, you guys. I want to see the footage. I want to see the footage. Yes, Shackleneck, if you're watching, God bless you, brother. K Slay, how are you? So last night at around 9 p.m., me and a friend were outside chatting. When we were talking, we heard a voice say, "Go away." And it caught us off guard. I remember getting chills. Let me put what we heard in the best context as possible. This voice sounded like it came from the neighbor's side, as if someone was outside, but no one was outside. It was dark. No other sounds occurred after, or anyone replied in case the possibility there was children outside, or anyone in that matter. The voice sounded like something was trying to imitate a human voice. It didn't sound male or female, but like if a parrot would say, "Go away," hence the sound like imitation. I'm open to the possibility that it was a parrot, maybe in their big tree, but I heard no rustling, and it was very unlikely a parrot would be out at midnight. Still open to it. Another thing I will add is it was very quiet after we heard the voice, and we would expect on both sides of the neighbors, but no one was outside. Arabic! My friend who I was chatting with was not superstitious and not a big believer in the supernatural. But when she clarified that to me and said I heard it too, I knew I was in trouble. Where we live, it's historical area, and all of the houses were built in the 1800s. There have been a few occasions something supernatural occurred, like a cup falling over in our kitchen or a ball rolling, then stopping in our backyard, but never any voices. So I try and keep in mind spirits may be attached to our home. I will note also, with all my respect, my neighbor's teenage son had unalived himself last year. So I keep into consideration it may have been his spirit. My sister was recently diagnosed with mild rheumatoid arthritis, which we never expected. So then my mind starts thinking, what if the entity is around because I have a cousin who has the same issues and she is immobile now, and she has seen and felt things that are demonic in their house in Tennessee. But that's another story for later on. I hope someone can give some input. That's a lot of stuff going on, right? That was a lot of stuff. I like what they said, and I purposely shared this with you guys because it was a lot of guessing. But the rheumatoid arthritis thing, that makes no sense, right? You think you heard spiritual voices because your sister has arthritis? Probably not. the neighbor, their child, their son had unalived himself just recently. That is a better explanation than the arthritis thing to me. No, I have not. I'm doing well. I'm doing well, lad. Video ball. How are you? Ugh. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I know we had better videos prior to. The only one, like I said earlier, was I didn't. Did you get that? Not yet. No, we're figuring it out, guys. Um, we we've had better videos from the disclosures before. These were all right. The one from the United Emirates was probably the best one, I think. But other than that, thank you, Ghostly World. Thank you. This one's creepy right here. Just wanted to share my experience with you guys. So my friends and I are amateur investigators, but we've got some equipment, spirits box, EMF readers, that sort of things. There's a local location to us that's called Three Bridge. Apparently, it's the site of a Native American massacre. There's also been several fatal car crashes and a murder. So with all of that being said, the energy's got to be high, in my opinion. We're at the edge of the bridge. And my boyfriend is doing the ESTI method. For those who don't know what it is, it's a paranormal investigation method where someone uses headphones and are blindfolded with a spirit box. The white noise from the box blocks out all the outside noise, and they are meant to repeat what they hear in the box. So my boyfriend is in this method, and we are asking questions and getting a few general responses, nothing super clear or scary, but the occasional religious response or satanic, which is always a bit freaky. But then he says something along the lines of, "Want to see something?" And I answer back, "Yes." Then he responds with, "Window down," or something similar. So I ask if something wants my window down. I get no response back. So I explained that I'd be rolling my window down. I did, and nothing happened for a few minutes, but then I heard it's like someone was walking beside the car on the dirt road. I kind of freaked out, rolled the window up, and panicked a bit. Then my boyfriend unpromptedly repeats, "Are you scared?" And yeah, I was. We also got several responses asking us to go under the bridge. Examples are below, come down, beneath, which is possible to do, but it was super cold and we didn't have flashlights on us. I was already freaked out, so we are definitely not going down. Other responses of that night was my name, friend's name, Satan 3 door down. We passed 2 houses, then got to the bridge. Religious numbers 7, 14, 8, and 9. Other religious things such as God or God is with you. Something saying it was lying or he is lying. Various names could be names of car accident victims, but we couldn't find any info on that. Several things talking about being in the trees, the woods nearby, or fields off the side of us. There was also moments where it seemed to be entities were having their own conversation or arguments. Aramic is generous. Aramic is the most generous person with the memberships. Just an amazing dude. What's up, Henry? Smitty! Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Geraldo, how are you? This is from Michael Prince. James Caspol gave me this shirt. The Commander. James Caspol, the super soldier. Jimmy Caspol. Time is it? All right. Lizo. It's a nice hoodie. It is a nice hoodie. He blessed me with it. He said, Jeff, I want you to have this shirt. I said, Mr. Caspol, thank you so much. We're supposed to do an interview, but some came up on his end, and I don't know if we're going to get to it. I hope soon we will. He's a super nice guy. I really like him. The few conversations that we had. All right, Lizo time. The neon sign for the dusty spoke flickered with a rhythmic dying buzz, casting a sickly pink glow over the cracked asphalt of the New Mexico desert. It was 2:14 a.m., the hour when the heat finally stops screaming and begins to simmer. Inside the diner, the air was thick soup of stale mentholated cigarettes and a heavy floral scent of cheap perfume. At the center of this kingdom sat Lizo. She was not the singer, though she claimed they were distant cousins on the side of the auntie who had moved to Detroit. Lizo was the undisputed queen of the lot lizards. She sat in a corner booth, her throne clad in leopard print spandex, and fought the valet daily war against physics. Her hair was a gravity-defying beehive of bleached blonde synthetic fibers. Her fingernails were long enough to open a locked semi-door or gouge the eyes out of a handsy drifter. To her left sat Earl Bain, whose skin had the texture of an old baseball glove and whose diet consisted primarily of beef jerky and black coffee. Earl was a long-haul trucker who had retired into Lizo's service 3 years ago after he realized that hauling refrigerated poultry was nowhere near as exciting as being the official boy toy and enforcer of the desert's most powerful woman. Earl, honey, Lizo rasped, her voice sounding like two pieces of sandpaper rubbing together. Tell Stinky Pete to stop trying to sell those stolen catalytic converters in the lobby. It's tacky. We have a reputation to uphold. Earl nodded, adjusting his mesh back cap. You got it, Sugar Pie. The dusty microcosm of society's fringes. It had the staff, mostly waitresses, who had seen things that would make a combat medic blink, the hobos who lived in the abandoned drainage pipes nearby, and the women of the night, Lizo's loyal subjects, who kept the wheels of commerce turning, one $19 special at a time. The peace of the desert night was shattered by a low mechanical hum. A massive matte black tractor trailer pulled into the lot. It had no markings, no DOT numbers, and the windows so dark they looked like voids into reality. It was flanked by two black SUVs. Bids, Earl spat, squinting through the grease-streaked window. 6 men stepped out of the vehicles. They wore charcoal gray suits that cost more than Earl's rig. They didn't look like they were here for an all-you-can-eat liver and onions. They looked like they were here to bury a body. Whatever they're hauling, it's heavy, Lizo noted, her eyes narrowing. She watched as one of the men in black approached the trailer's rear door. The truck was vibrating, a frantic, rhythmic thudding coming from within. thump, thump, screech. The sound was wrong. It wasn't the sound of shifting cargo. It was a sound of something angry. Don't open that, you suit-wearing dipstick, Lizo muttered under her breath. Of course, he opened it. The heavy steel door hissed as a vacuum seal broke. For a second, there was silence. Then a blur of feathers and muscle exploded from the darkness of the trailer. The first men in black didn't even have time to reach for his sidearm. A massive three-toed foot with a claw the size of a steak knife ripped through his torso, pinning him to the asphalt. What in the hell's that? Earl yelled, standing up so fast he knocked over his coffee. Under the harsh floodlights of the lot, the creature revealed itself. In coarse, oily black feathers, it had a powerful drumstick leg of an emu, but where the wings should have been, well, they were human arms, ending in jagged, blackened fingernails. Its head was the worst part, a long, serpentine neck topped with a face that was hauntingly humanoid, save for the serrated beak and the bulging, lidless orange eyes. It was Project Sapien, the government's failed attempt to create the ultimate desert scout, the Humimu. The creature moved with terrifying jerky speed. It pecked the head off the second men in black with a wet crunch and used the human hands to slap its neck at a third. The survivors scrambled, their high-tech pistols barking in the night, but the Humimu was a blur of avian fury. My kingdom's under attack, Lizo roared, sliding out of the booth with surprising grace. She reached into her cleavage and pulled out a chrome-plated .38 snub-nosed revolver. Earl, get the girls inside. Pete, get the tire irons. The diner erupted into chaos. The Humimu, having finished the men in black, turned its orange gaze toward the glowing lights of the dusty spoke. It smelled grease. It smelled fear. It smelled Lizo's perfume. It charged. The creature burst through the plate glass window in a shower of glittering shards. It landed on a breakfast bar, sending plates of hash browns flying. One of the drifters, a man known only as Cactus Jack, tried to tackle it. The Humimu simply kicked him through the cigarette machine. Hey, Featherface! Lizo shouted. The monster spun its long neck 180 degrees to look at her. Lizo stood there, her neon spandex shimmering, her gun leveled. Nobody wrecks the spoke on my watch, she said, and emptied the cylinder. The bullets hit the creature in the chest, but its hide was reinforced with subdermal Kevlar, a parting gift from the secret labs. It let out a guttural honk shriek and lunged. Not today, bird brain, Earl yelled. He came swinging from the kitchen with a massive industrial-sized pot of boiling hot sausage grease. He hurled the contents with precision of a man who had spent 40 years hitting targets. The white, scalding sludge coated the creature's eyes. It shrieked in agony, flailing its human arms wildly. Now, girls, Lizo commanded, and out of the shadows of the booths came the women of the night. This was not their first rodeo with a monster. They dealt with angry truckers every day. They were armed with tools of the trade, heavy-duty hairspray cans ignited by lighters, spiked heels used as daggers, and cans of mace that could stop a grizzly bear. Stinky Pete, that chain, Lizo barked. The local hobos, led by Pete, crawled out of the kitchen. They had uncoiled a heavy security chain from the front gate. They circled the blinded Humimu like a pack of desert wolves. Lasso the bastard, Earl screamed. They threw the chains. The creature fought back, its human hands grabbing at the links, its powerful legs kicking out and shuddering the wooden table. It managed to grab Pete by his beard, but Lizo was already moving. She grabbed a heavy iron skillet from the griddle, one that had not and was seasoned with the carbon of 1,000 steaks. She leapt onto that booth, caught the air like a majestic leopard-printed eagle, and brought that skillet down on the Humimu's skull with a sound like a church bell ringing in hell. Cling! The creature staggered. Earl, the rig, Lizo yelled. Earl understood perfectly. He sprinted out the back door, hopping into his Peterbilt, fired it up. The roar of the diesel echoed like a dragon waking up. He put the truck in gear and backed it straight toward the shattered front of the diner. Clear out, Lizo shouted to her subjects. As the crew scrambled into the kitchen, Earl slammed the rig in reverse. The heavy rear bumper of the trailer smashed through the front wall, pinning the Humimu against the back of the walk-in freezer. The creature gave out one final pathetic honk as the weight of the 18-wheeler crushed its reinforced ribcage. Silence fell over the dusty smoke curled from the truck's exhaust. Lizo climbed over the rubble, her beehive slightly tilted, but otherwise still intact. She adjusted her spandex and looked at the mangled heap of feathers and government tech. Earl, she called out. Earl hopped out of the cab, wiping the grease from his forehead. Yes, Sugar Pie. Check the men in black's pockets. I bet they have a high-limit credit card. We're going to need a new window. On it, Earl said, giving her a wink. Lizo turned to the rest of the motley crew, the girls, and the drifters. They were all bruised, covered in gravy and glass, but still alive. All right, people. Nothing to see here, Lizo shouted, her voice regaining the queenie authority. Tracy, get the broom. Pete, start hauling the bird meat out of the dumpster into the dumpster before it starts to smell. And put someone on the damn jukebox to play some music. I'm not losing the late night rush because some local or federal poultry experiment gone awry. By 4 a.m., the glass was boarded up with plywood. The men in black had been dragged into the desert to be dealt with by the coyotes and the sun. The Humimu was buried in a shallow grave behind the septic tank. Lizo sat back in the corner booth, sipping lukewarm gin and tonic. Earl sat beside her, his hand resting on her leopard-printed knee. You okay, Lizo? Earl asked softly. She took a long drag of her mentholated cigarette. The smoke curled towards the stained ceiling tile. The New Mexico desert, waiting for the first hint of the blue on the horizon. I'm fine, Earl, she sighed, leaning her head on his shoulder. Just another Tuesday night. And there we go. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It really does help put the blame on other people. Southern Charmer, how are you? Oh. Thank you, everyone. I told you I had some good Lizzos tonight. Some good Lizzos. My bifocals are bothering me again. Oh. There we go. Let me get my eyes kind of adjusted here. All right. Maybe I can do this. I don't know. My eyes are getting worse and worse. This aging process, this shit sucks. I think I need stronger bifocals. Thank you, Aramic. Thank you very much. It is bogus. It is. Oh, God. All right. A little background. Me and my sister slept at my grandparents' house numerous times, and we have always had an on and off feeling sleeping there. like unsettling. My grandparents' house is in the city and in a safe neighborhood. I have no idea what the history of the house is. The night before this happened, my sister and I both had a rough sleep and were extremely unsettled. The night it happened, it was about 1 a.m. We're hanging out in my grandparents' basement. The way my grandparents' basement is set up is the TV is facing the stairwell. The stairwell is quite narrow with walls on either side. When I was sitting on the couch, I saw shadows moving on the wall by the TV in front of where the staircase was. I chalked it up to my sister moving, even though it didn't make sense that it would be her because she was sitting would not line up with where the shadows were moving, and her movements and the shadows didn't line up. This kept happening, so I asked her to move her arms again. She did, and the shadow didn't move. I said that I saw something moving, and I thought it was her, and she said she saw it as well. We both started staring at the TV, and I saw a white hand in the reflection reach out from behind one of the walls on the side of the staircase and start to wave. I said that I saw a hand, and she said she saw it as well. Also, important note that the TV was off. We went to bed after this, and we never saw a full body. This is the only time I've ever experienced something like this. It is also important to note that my grandparents' house is very loud and creaky, especially when people are walking. Small steps from upstairs would sound like stomps from downstairs. And my grandparents' room is upstairs, so if one of them came down to scare us, we would have heard it. We didn't hear any footsteps at all. Me, my sister, and my grandparents were the only ones staying there that night. No one believes my sister and I that what we saw. Anyway, thanks for letting me share. DL, how are you? Oh, man. Tired. I hear you, buddy. I hear you. The reason why I started the live stream earlier now is because I'm getting older. And pretty soon, probably in 2 years, I'll start it at 8 o'clock because I'll be just too old to not stay up past 10. Oh, buddy. Johnny Ohm. Ball lightning? You saw ball lightning? Big meter. No, shut up your face. I'm an only child. I'm 49. I'm not 50 yet. I'll be 50 in September. 50 in September. Oh. Eli, how are you, buddy? Easy, how are you? It's old. Norman Comics, how are you? You want to go out, buddy? Here you go. Here you go, buddy. Good boy. Go on. Go on. Go on, buddy. What are you doing? Go on. Go. Go. Jesus. He stinks, dude. I think Tigger just ripped ass before he left the room. Fucking cat just ripped ass and left. Dude, he's looking at the door. I'm letting him out. He's like this. Does a circle and then walks out. And all of a sudden, I smell this fucking stink from him. Stinky, stinky boy. What do you call an alien with 3 balls? Oh my God, an extra testicle. That, my friend, was a good one. That was good. I got it, man. I don't know. My eyes are just bad tonight. I was 10 or 11 in the back seat of a car. We were driving back home and it was nighttime. I remember we were very close to our house. We're on a rocky road when suddenly a giant orange orb appeared out of thin air and hovered right above our car. I was frantically telling my mom to look at the orb, but for some reason, she didn't fully see it. She told me she caught a brief glimpse of it in the ending. The orb disappeared almost instantly, and when I turned my head to look again, it was gone. We don't have any light poles on the road or anything else that could have made this ball of light appear so close to the car. I started reading online to see if other people had seen the same thing, and I came across a post that described exactly what I saw. Witness across different countries and decades describe same characteristics: silent movement, smooth motion, no visible wings or exhausts. Often the orbs appear alone, but in some cases travel in groups. Just like what makes orb sightings stand out is their behavior. They frequently hover, drift, or change direction without sharp turns or visible propulsion. Some reports describe them as merging, separating, or suddenly fading out of existence. These traits differ from planes, helicopters, and drones, which follow predictable flight paths and emit sound. I still don't know what it could have been, but I think it was interesting. Thank you for letting me share. Maybe it was alien related. I don't know. Aramic, you do not suck. You make me laugh. Every joke you tell me makes me laugh. Every joke. That's why, if you want to have a good time at the live stream, what do I say? The community chat is always on fire. Friendships are forged and jokes are told. That line is directly at you, Aramic. Directly at you. How about a Dogman encounter? Dogman encounter? Here it is. Creepiest thing I ever saw. Mine was 18 years ago. My wife and I were spending the weekend at a camping site where we had a permanent 200 M2 slot for our caravan in Germany. On a Saturday evening, we were on a on-site party. It was about 0200. We decided to head back to our caravan. The weather was fine, so we were casually walking. Suddenly, something bulky silently brushed between us. We looked at this thing, and at first I thought it was a wolfhound, as it was waist height and on all fours. It was dark fur like a dog, but when I looked closer, I seen that the two front muscular legs only touched the ground lightly and not consistently, like not in a clang with two back legs. Like it did not naturally walk on all fours, as if a human was to impersonate a dog. Its head was large, its jaws were open, shutting as if it was trying to speak. Although from the side its head partially had a canine outline, there was hardly any fur and more human like skin. Thinking back, I think it either had escaped from a lab or was possibly a dogman. As my brain could not register it was a known animal, I snapped and wanted to protect my wife. My instinct told me to be loud, so I shouted, "Are you? For Christ's sake, you are not fooling us. You are not a dog. Now clear off." With that, it was about to stand up, and if it had, it would have been over 2 meters tall. But as it heard other people, it got back down and not completely like a human bent over to impersonate a dog, but did not get down on knees in a crawling position. It then scattered off into the forest. It did not bark, growl, or pant, and was clearly not in a place it wanted to be. All right. Here we go. This one, like the last encounter that I just recently did, has pictures with it. This is something that happened to my husband and I a good 9 years ago. We had gone to watch a friend's band play and we were heading home from downtown Dallas. I don't live in a metroplex any longer, so not personal info. It was around 1 in the morning, but we still had plans before I was expected home, still dating at the time. So we headed to his apartment in one of the South Dallas suburbs. This was a pretty well populated suburb, but by the time we got close to his place, the roads were pretty much empty. We exited the highway and turned onto a street that led to his apartment. But as soon as we passed the traffic light under the highway, we both saw it plain as day. Stone sober and wide awake, we both saw this mother effing werewolf type creature exit a neighborhood street and calmly run in about 4 steps across a 4-lane road. It was about 75 yards in front of us, but it wasn't exactly the way I'd imagine a werewolf or Dogman. It was completely canine, no human features at all, except for the fact that it was running on 2 legs. Legs were massive. The thing was about 7 feet in height. The arms reminded me of a T-Rex. They were small and hung like a dog's leg. They seemed very useless as this thing was trying to attack something. Its head was also odd. Besides being typical dog color, grayish black, the eyes weren't headlights shining directly on them. It didn't look like a glow on any animal gets from lights in their eyes anyway. But the thing that stood out to me the most was that the eyes were bioclear, like fish. I saw the eyes clearly, even though he was completely profiled to us. Here's a picture that I drew. I couldn't quite get it right. It was a little more menacing in the head and face than I could convey, but I couldn't figure out how to draw it without making it look over the top cartoonish, and I am not a good artist. This is what they saw. This is what they're describing, the picture that they drew. I will never forget how fast this thing was either. Here's a diagram of what happened. The road we were driving on had heavy trees to the right-hand side. This is the next picture, the right-hand side of us. When it came out, it was running, but crossed the road in a few steps. It was big enough and effortlessly fast enough to know that a human couldn't have dressed up and done this. There was an open field that it ran into. When my husband and I got to where the trees broke, we both turned our heads to look, but it was long gone by then. 4 seconds had passed. I think the only thing said was, "What the F?" More about what this thing looked like. It was more menacing than the picture I drew, but to be honest, much less scary than what I would imagine a dogman to be. When it was running across the road, I didn't get the sense that it cared that we saw it or not, even trying that hard to cross before we got closer. I didn't feel fear, like we were threatened, only disbelief. And again, it's not like we were in a rural area by any stretch of the imagination. When we passed the tree line, his apartment complex is literally 150 yards up or so. We hurried in and didn't exactly get our plan apartment in silence. Still to this day, I often think to myself, I mean, really, did this really happen? But as soon as I close my eyes and think about it, those bright yellow eyes are instantly there. Oh, My eyes are killing me. Shit. All right. What time is it? I'm going to take a break on minutes. I'm going to hang out for a few minutes with y'all. So, happy Mother's Day, guys. I hope everybody is, it definitely was a Dogman SDL. Definitely. I hope everybody has a good rest of their weekend. Oh. Samara, how are you? Yeah, I'm just wearing my bifocals. I don't know. I can't believe my eyes are getting that bad. I don't even like these glasses. All my glasses are just like fucking crazy. There we go. These are better. These are better today. Now. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for noticing my haircut. I cannot believe I cut it, though. Like, it was hard. It was really hard to get it cut. I was sad. What's up, Andy Davis? Ryu! Thank you, Hexflex. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It does grow fast. It does grow fast. It grows really fast. Thank you, Smitty. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Pops. What is it? 2 more minutes till Mother's Day? 2 more minutes till Mother's Day. 2 more. Gross. I just can't believe I just belched like that. Just texting a happy Mother's Day quick. If wanting to be alone makes you an introvert, wanting to be around people makes you an extrovert, wanting to be with cats must make you a pervert. Arabic! Good stuff, buddy. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yes, Janie, she is. That's who I'm texting. I'm gonna wait until Mother's Day to click it. I know, I shaved the beard and cut the hair. It's crazy. Crazy. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I hope all the moms out there have a beautiful, lovely Mother's Day. I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I love you all. God bless you all. And I have a really amazing interview coming up. It's pretty crazy. You guys will be shitted. It's 2 young kids that are like 15 that had an experience together. One shared it with me and called his friend, literally, what did we see 2 years ago? His friend was skateboarding, had no idea that we were going to call, and literally said the same thing. So with that, guys, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. I love you all. I'll see you next Saturday. Good night, you all.